Oh, hello. Good evening.
Dave. Is Ron okay? Ron, so plus 2.
All right, welcome. Good evening. Um, October's meeting. Everyone here. We like it. All good. Yeah, cool. All right. So welcome to October meeting. We have about 84 images, so hopefully it's done fairly quickly. It all depends on our esteemed judge. So for tonight, starting off the announcements, our judge for tonight, Kelly Clark from Streams Club, LPSSA. So thanks for joining us. Thank you for taking the time to come out and judging our images. I know I've been with your club a few times, so I think we're pretty much on the same level playing field. All right. Our theme tonight, traditional. So whatever traditional, celebrating culture and heritage through a photograph, or whatever is tradition. So it's out of the box. It's your choice whether to penalize it if you don't feel it fits into the theme of tradition. Our next club evening, 12th November. Keep that in your diaries. And our next theme, which will be the last theme for 2025, is self-portrait. I know we all love that one now.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Being behind the camera versus being in front of the camera makes a difference. Okay, so it's a self-portrait. Try and be creative. Express yourself through photos taken of you by you. Okay, not by your friend or your buddy. So getting that focus right is key. Okay. Right, the birthday's October 14th was Jeanette.
What?
It's still coming a few days from now. And then on the 24th, Anthony. Okay, those are the October birthdays.
I still can't remember all that.
That's okay, we don't care.
I'm 21 with several years experience.
That's okay, as long as you enjoy your birthday.
94 plus that.
Yeah. We have one promotion this month, Anton Dester from 1 star to 2 star. Congratulations. I see Anton is not here tonight. Maybe he got something he did not, I don't know, missing in action. Next salon, our next salon's 11th of October, which means closing this Saturday, and it's a Kroonstad Photo Club. Now, you know Kroonstad tends to do something quite differently, and in this year it's the same. Everything in the salon is black and white, not black and white, monochrome. Okay, so whether you enter an open category, a portraiture, even macro, they have a macro monochrome, and I think scapes or something like that. So enter your monochromes if you feel they fit into the salon. I think it's going to be interesting.
They've got very nice categories.
Yeah, so they got a few nice categories. So I mean, I haven't entered for a while, so maybe I can put in an hour somewhere just to do that. See if we can get a nice monochrome. I mean, we've done that mono thing with Deirdre, so hopefully, hey, maybe we can do something. Do some of those little tricks and tips, follow that, and see if we can't get a few monos in. 25th of October is the 7th Rustenburg National Salon, and the 15th November is Vanderbijl Park. F-Stop Salon was going to be on the 12th, but F-Stop no longer has a salon this year. It was taken away from us due to technical glitch from our side. Because we'd never attended the salon training, which we were supposed to, and we missed the second date. For some reason, they never sent us the link, and then they still allowed us to do the salon, and then because they slipped up in giving us our date, and we're supposed to do 4 months ahead of the time, we're supposed to start asking for approval and get the brochure done and that, and we only managed to do that 3 months ahead of the time, and they said, no, that's the second thing that you're missing. So If you're not prepared enough, we'd rather give it to someone else. We said, by all means, do that. Because So we'll take it, apply again before 31st of January and see if we can get a salon maybe by the end of next year. Okay. So yes, we did slip up a little bit. I apologize for that. All right, then talk about salons. Here are a few results. Durban Camera Club Digital Salon. Andre Botha, 1 acceptance. Michelle, 3 acceptances. Belinda, 1 COM and 9 acceptances. Well done. That's what I have on my list. If anyone else has salons, no one? Okay. We've done a workshop, 2 at this stage now. One was done by Deirdre last month. Another one was done by Michelle recently. And then we have another one coming up. It's called F-stop Categories and PSSA Overview. So it's all about categories and an overview of how the PSSA thing all fits in and how to go about doing certain things within the PSSA, you know, all those little nitty-gritty things that sometimes you miss out on, you don't know how to do it, you don't know what to follow, which procedure. Am I correct, Marie?
Yeah, we're just going to talk about what the PSSA offers and why you should be a member, why it's beneficial, and then what the rules and so on are, and a general conversation.
Okay, all right. So in general, genres, what genres are about, just in general what PSSA offers and what they're all about, that kind of thing. And that will be presented by Maureen Fourie on the 21st of October. So if you feel like joining in, there will be 2 sessions, 21st at 7 p.m. and then the second session on the 28th at 7 p.m.
So the first one is going to be the F-stop categories.
Yes,
to deal with that.
Yeah.
And the reason why we're doing it is I've noticed that some people enter images in categories that is not fitting for that image.
Okay.
So we need to discuss that, especially for the newcomers.
Yes.
And then the second one will be on the 28th, which will be discussing the PSSA.
So they'll be split into 2. So there won't be the same session duplicated. So the first one is about the categories, and the second one is the PSSA overview. Am I correct? So this will be advertised at 21st. That will be.
It will be online, or do you want to do it in person?
It will be an online thing. Yeah. The link will be sent through.
Yes.
And generally, what, about an hour, hour and a half, give or take. You will.
Deirdre will set up the meeting first and share the link within time.
So it could be anywhere between 1 and 2 hours, like the others.
Yes.
Okay, so just make that time available. Our themes for 2026. It's that time of the year again when we ask all the members to come up with theme ideas. You can either WhatsApp it to Deirdre directly or put it on the group or something, as long as it comes out somewhere that we can pick the themes, put them in a hat and draw 11 themes for 2026. Okay, like we did last year. I think it worked okay, but we tried to get a few more so that we're not limited in what we have to pick, like self-portraits, for instance. Not everybody likes it, but let's think about themes that we haven't done in the last year or 2 at least, and then try and get something that either inspires or brings out your creative side, or just be plain things, you know, just normal things.
Suggest or
no. If you can think of 10, supply 10. I think I don't recall that we've. Let me just see.
So,
members can nominate 11 teams. That will be the 11 total. So I don't think there will be a limit to the number that you would submit. But in the end, we only need to draw 11 out of the lot.
You said 100 ideas.
Yeah, okay. So we won't go overboard and send 20 from one person, but at least if everyone can maybe at least do 2 or 3, you know, then we have at least 30 or so to choose from.
If I refer back to last year, how we did it, there were like 4 or 5 people that actually submitted more than one, which gave us a pool to, you know, choose from. And it was randomly chosen. It wasn't my decision what was chosen. Random people drew numbers. But if there's only 1 or 2 people that's submitting, you can submit as much as possible, but it would be nice if more people can
Yes,
submit.
because not everyone thinks about the same kind of idea. So it'll be nice to get a variation of thoughts or creative ideas or something like that. Okay. Try and think of something that is actually achievable by most members at least. Okay, so that it is something that we could all basically enjoy. I mean, it's all about the image and not the difficulty of the subject itself. Okay, what we'll try and do is we'll try, according to the themes, try and get judges that are actually familiar with those kind of themes. And maybe try and get training material stuff set up, lined up with it. That's why we want to pick them all in advance, so we can actually get workshops or stuff set up so that you know how to get the images for the themes for the year. Okay, so that's kind of the idea behind it. And then we'll try and get it all ready. And that's why Fraser and Deirdre have started this whole workshop thing with members, which is in line with our mentorship thing that we started a while back. And I think it kind of works. And we'd like to take this further and enhance this experience and just bounce off each other and learn from each other. Okay. Right, so then that's the nomination deadline. So by the end of this month, 31st of October, so by next club evening, we want to actually have the 11 themes announced. So by November's club evening, which is the 12th, we want to announce the 11 themes for next year. So that if you go on holiday in December, maybe you can shoot some of those themes. Maybe it's something to do with landscapes and you're down at the sea or the coast, or you go to some exotic place where you never get to see it again. And yeah, it's one of the themes. You might as well just shoot it while you're there.
Why don't you have the themes in the hat and draw it next week?
We could, if it's a suggestion, then we could look at that. Yeah, we can even do the draw on the 11th. Nomination deadline 31st of the poll will run for 1 week. Theme to be announced in November. Okay, so that's what we have discussed, but we can actually look at that option. We'll discuss it quickly as a committee, and I don't think it's a bad idea if the draw takes place.
If the poll is on the group, the way that Deirdre suggested it, everybody's on the group. Correct. And if you can choose the ones that, and Deirdre will probably do a further poll if there's too many of them.
That was the idea. So we run a poll and we pick the 11 with the highest number of votes, and those will be there.
Yes.
That was kind of the idea, instead of just picking. But I mean, if majority says no, we have to pick out of the hat, we could do that. But the idea was that we run a poll and we just pick like we do with our weekly little team. That's correct. Yes. So yeah. So that's why we want to look at if the poll sees that there are two things that are too similar, then we ditch one and we start looking at different. So I don't know if Deirdre has something to add on the other side.
She just said the poll allows online members to vote as well.
Yes.
And the other thing with putting it on a poll is you know what the options are and you vote for them. If we put it in a hat and you draw a number, you don't know what you're choosing.
Yes. That's what we discussed. That's basically how it came out. That's why we chose the poll idea, which we felt was kind of a good thing. Because then you see it before the time, you can actually vote for it, and then you know, I voted for it. I might as well just go and capture those images.
Yes.
I think you can either send it Deirdre directly or just, I think if we just post on the group.
On the lounge.
On the lounge, yes. Just do it on the lounge. We'll pick it up from there. No problem. So by the 31st of October, just when you do post on the lounge, just mention these are my theme ideas, so that it's not just some random post that gets lost. So just mention on the group, here's an idea for a theme, post it. Here's another idea for theme, post it, so that it can be captured accordingly. Okay.
Okay, so sorry
Yes.
to interrupt. Deirdre says if you post on the lounge, there's an option if you send a message that you go at, so you use your at sign and you use Deirdre, then she knows to pay attention to those comments.
Yeah, put the at sign and then she will get the attention. Yes. I wanted to say that, but I was thinking anyway, it's an at sign.
Yeah. at Deirdre, and then your suggestions.
Thank you, Deirdre. Yes, we've got a year-end function that we're planning. It's not our year-end final December meeting that we always do. So instead of just doing a year-end where everybody comes in December and we just post images and you get scores and all those things, so we're planning like a year-end, just like a bride, just a casual club meeting. And the idea was to go on the 30th of November. So look at that date. That is one of the most likely dates that we could. And the venue would be the Lapa at the Rietvlei Nature Reserve, which means you can get in early morning, great photos. We can do maybe a rally type thing there, and then come back and have a bride, because we can book the Lapa until midnight hours if we want, and then we can also try and arrange maybe a night drive with some of the guides there in the park as well after the bride or something like that. So that's maybe kind of the idea. And that's just a casual bring a bride. The club will book the Lapa, but everyone just brings their own snacks and drinks.
It's a Sunday.
It's a Sunday, 30th November. Cost will be, okay, here's an idea, cost 100 Rand per person, food included, bride pack and sides. Okay, if you want to go for that option, then you pay 100 bucks and we collectively get bride packs and sly and sauce and pop and those things made up, and then you just bring your own drinks. Okay, does it sound like an idea? But we have to get an idea of member interest in that, so that if we book the Lapa at 4,700 Rand, it's at least 10 or 20, 10 or 15, get your spouse to come with, whatever, so we just make it worthwhile, bring someone along, especially if they want to see if we can get into a night drive type of thing, we can always try and arrange that. It sounds like a very good option for us. And then beyond that, we'll still do our normal year-end December 20 images per person type of thing. Okay. Natasha, that will be your first December then, eh? Okay, so what happens for the newcomers when it gets to December? You don't enter new images. You go and pick your best images from January to November. Then you are allowed 4 entries maximum per category. So if you shot only nature throughout the year, you only enter 4 images in nature. If you've shot nature, pictorial, photojournalism, scapes, altered reality, and you have a whole mix of images, you can enter 4 into each category up to a maximum of 20. Okay. Question.
I'd just like to ask for the newbies like myself. If you, let's say you did nature, 20 pictures in nature and 2 portraits.
Yeah.
Would we be allowed then to?
No.
No.
Yeah,
The question
I guess
was,
what
you
you said.
cannot take a nature then convert it to.
No, you can take any of your themes and convert that to a category of your choice. So if the theme fits into pictorial or to altered reality or photojournalism, then you can enter it there. So you can convert your theme into anything else. If it
But
fits.
the nature can't become a pictorial.
But you can't make a nature and it becomes a pictorial because it was entered as a nature. Okay. So that's kind of just to try and push everyone to diversify, for next year. If you do that, try and shoot more different categories and it'll push you out of your comfort zone. That's the idea of the themes anyway.
I will shortly discuss this in the 21st meeting as well,
Yes.
if there's any further questions.
Okay, so that's typically something that Maureen will also discuss with her workshop. All right, so does that make sense? All right. Right, so then our December club evening, as usual, moves to the first Wednesday of the month instead of the 2nd. So we're having that on the 3rd of December instead of the 10th because of the school holidays and all those things, like we always do every year. And that will be the final year where all those images that you enter, just remember, by November's club meeting, you have 1 week after club meeting to submit your December entries because we have to still get those images to the judges. The judges still have to judge those images so that we can have the results by the December club meeting.
How are we going to do that and how many judges are going to judge?
We're going to try and get a club with 3 judges to do it for us, if we can.
Because I'm not in favor of that. I prefer that images are judged even here.
Yeah, but the problem is if we have 280 images like last year, we're going to sit here from 7 until 12. That was the big reason why we changed it so that the judge does it remotely, and on the night we just give the scores that the judges has given. This way we can ask judges from the Western Cape, from the Eastern Cape, from Durban, for wherever, just to do a remote judging for us, and we don't stick to the local judges that we continuously keep, because eventually they get used to our style and our images and all those things. So we want to just move it to someone else who's totally impartial, and then they just give us a score. They don't need to comment, and then we take it from there.
Normal photo vault submission,
Yes.
A and B, when are you going to open photo vault?
It's already in Photo Vault. Deidre has done the entry for Photo Vault, so December is already open for you to enter in Photo Vault.
The other thing with judging on the evening, it's photos that has been judged and critiqued before. So it's literally just a re-entry to see how you did overall for the year.
It's basically just to pick the best of our best images, and we ask someone with a different viewpoint, maybe just to look at them. Most clubs are going that route because it becomes a very long extended evening if we I know we've done it in the past, we were successful, but our club has grown a little bit, and I think we have quite a few more images. And I don't think anyone wants to sit here until whatever time at night, unless we do it on a Saturday type of thing. You know. But this option worked very well last year, so we might as well do it again. Fine. That's all I have to say. What does Arnold Schwarzenegger say? That's
I'll
it
be
and that's
back.
all.
Oh.
He says, that's it and that's all.
I thought he said, I'll be back.
That as well.
Okay.
So yes, we're just going to present the test images quickly so you can see that it's all good. And then we'll start with our theme.
Okay.
Theme is no senior, junior, star rating, you know that. Just give your critique and your score, and that's it. Yes, just one thing that we're going to do tonight, slightly different. We're not going to go 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, 4 star, 5. So we're going to go altered reality, then nature, then portrait, pictorial, etc. So it'll be all the 1 stars or 2 stars, all the star rates in each category, because the system then allows us to see what the category is and know what the star level is. Because if we go star rating only, we don't know what the category is. So it makes it easier to show you that it is indeed a nature or a pictorial or a portrait. And you know how to align your judging accordingly for manipulation or non-manipulation.
Ek kan jou maar net gou help nie. Ek het nou geshare. Hy staan geshare. Ja.
View, and see display test images HD.
Ja.
Okay, kom maar op. Dan kan jy net die pijltjies gebruik en weer gaan.
Okay.
By die
You happy, Kelly?
That's one I can see.
Okay. Ek sien so. There is a small difference.
Okay, it's fine.
Bit dark.
Yeah, it's slightly dark.
William Child. Okay.
Right. Okay. Right.
Okay, just a note, in the bottom right corner, you see there's 2 spots there that looks a bit whatever. That's our projector, so it's not in the image.
Okay.
Just take note of that. In any black little spots is Kogas.
Okay, dan kan jy net file, view, op display, of jy kan, ja, jy kan sê stop the display. Beams is later, kies, okay. Jy kan go daar gaan sê, beams, jy weer op die V, dan sê nou meer die beams,
Okay.
en dan kan jy, as jy geshare het en alles sien, as hulle happy is, dan kan jy nou net gaan en sê view display.
Okay.
So ons kan net seker maak alles sien.
Okay.
En dus kan jy net gou stop sharing weer share.
Stop sharing.
Gaan gou na die display toe, so gou sê view, display photos,
Ja.
gaan nou screen share,
Okay. Share.
kies daai ene, sê share, nou moet hy hom share. Okay, so as jy dan nou terug gaan na hom toe, dan kan jy aangaan met.
Okay, die draai confirm ons kan sien.
Okay, 2-star Protea.
Okay, it's theme, so you can do it.
Okay. And our theme is tradition, which depicts culture.
This is your theme.
Yes, it's our theme.
Right. Yeah, I can see what the author's trying to achieve here. I mean, the Protea is a symbol of South Africa. A lot of the sporting codes use it. I think the capture is, the crop is nice. I mean, maybe you could remove a little bit more from the left, and I think you're also losing a little bit of focus down at the bottom. And also the whites at the top, you need to maybe just tone those down a little bit more, but otherwise it's a very nice attempt.
Okay.
It's a 10 gold for Natasha. Monumental heritage.
Okay, yeah, there's a few issues with this photograph. Number one, I think the border would have rounded it off a little bit better. You also have a very slanted appearance, especially on these white, like Volkswagen or stones, I'm not sure. And also the wall at the back there. Also, you've cut the top of your monument off. Yeah, so if the monument would have been the focal point, I think that's very important that you make sure that you've got the whole thing in the frame. I'm not really sure if these little white circle things really add much to the image. I think you could maybe have cropped it off and focused more on the actual building itself.
It's a 10 gold for Andre Creer. Ou man en sy pyp.
Okay, yeah, I think the only thing that I can think of maybe add a bit of culture would be the pipe. I think your face is a little bit bright. Once again, I think a little bit of toning it down and maybe the crop on the right, you could have actually brought that in. I also feel that his head and his face are almost competing with the background. The textures are almost exactly the same. I think what you could have done to maybe improve this is maybe have him perhaps looking just past you or maybe just at you with a pipe in his mouth. But you've done well to catch the smoke. I think, yeah, it's not a bad effort, just a few small issues.
The 10 gold for Andre Guerta. Spinning.
I think this image speaks quite strongly to your culture theme. The lady is dressed in, I think, what a very traditional outfit. His movement on the, I don't even know what you call that thing, the spinning thing.
Spindle.
I think the crop is nice. I think you captured, you know, the theme of the lady is what, you know, what you need to be looking at. On the downside again, I think you might want to put on a border, and then also again the whites on the floor and particularly on her hat is just a little bit bright, so you might just want to tone that down. But I think it tells a story. It's a really nice image.
11 goals for Andre de Kok. Branas, braai en rugby.
I don't think you get more cultural than that. I like the way the author's done this. I think the fire in the background just adds an additional element. The rugby jersey, the brandy and coke. I don't mind too much that the point of the ball is cut off. I think it adds to the whole thing. And the way it's been laid out is, you know, everything is there, and I think that there's nothing that distracts you from it. But I think this is very, very South African culture. Well done.
12 goals for Stefan. Chinese New Year fireworks.
Okay. I mean, fireworks are definitely part of the Chinese culture. They love their fireworks. I think, obviously, you can't do really much about it, the people in the background. It's a well-structured image. I think you've got everything straight. There's nothing that's out of kilter here. The smoke is nice. It's not too bright. You've toned down the background of the building quite nicely. Again, a border would maybe have helped, but I think as presented, it's a very strong image.
11 goals for Maria. My Heritage.
Cover all this.
Okay, yeah, we've got another image I think sums up our country quite nicely. The ox wagon wheel, the protea again. I think that's milk tart there.
Mm-hmm.
The springbok, yeah, I think this is a very, very, very well thought out image. I think the author's given a lot of thought to what they want to present here. Just on the downside, possibly maybe look at the crop at the top. You know, you want to try and keep that detailing with a little bit of space between top of the wheel and the wall. But even the background that you've got here actually complements the image quite nicely. Well done.
Do you see there's even bolt on there?
Oh, yeah, there. I was wondering what that was. I didn't want to.
12 goals for Elsa. Gran is knitting a jersey.
I think, yeah, we can all relate to our grand sitting knitting jerseys. With one skip one, I think it was. But yeah, I think you captured a moment here that is, I think, you know, I don't think the youngsters of today would be too familiar with this, but I think you captured a moment of this old lady sitting knitting her jersey or whatever it is. She's got her bag on the floor. She's focused on what she's doing. I like the fact that you've darkened the background. There is separation between her and the background and the chair. And I think, yeah, it's quite a nice little story you've got.
11 goals for Michelle. Melktart.
I don't think there's too much more to say. It's a nice looking piece of milk tart, milk tart, sorry. The plate is nicely positioned. I think the table, the background that you've got there is nice and muted. It doesn't compete with the image. Yeah, there's not really much more I can say. It's a piece of milk tart.
And that's 11 for Martinez Gold. Traditional Cape fishing.
Okay, this is a beautiful image. I think you've captured the moment of these fishermen doing what they do probably day in and day out before the sun comes up. Your horizon is nice and straight. The colors in your sky are absolutely beautiful. The fishermen are silhouetted, but that I think adds to the image. The way the sun is reflecting off the sand. Yeah, even the boat being there, I think that's just adds some nice context to what we're looking at. But I think this is a very, very nice image.
The 12 gold for Belinda. Christmas.
This is a nice little, I mean, what would you call it? I think some people use these as decorations in their house, a nice little Christmas scene. It's got all the elements of Christmas with the trees, the lights, you know, the little train on the tracks. As presented, I think it's a very nice image.
11 gold for Dave. Democracy is dialogue. Democracy is dialogue. It's what's on the... Democracy is a dialoog.
I'm not quite sure where this is taken, but I think the sign democracy is dialogue is all very well and good, but I think the Molotov cocktail in the other hand is probably more to the point. Getting back to the image, I think the monochrome conversion is done quite nicely. I think there's clear separation between the statue and the sky. There's a lot of detail in the brickwork on the buildings behind. You know, the horizon is as straight as you're going to get it. I mean, this building on the right is a little bit, you know, obviously out of it. There's nothing distracting from the image, and I think it's a very powerful statue. I think it does definitely have a very strong message.
Thank you. It's 11 gold for me. It was taken in the mid-town though.
Oh, I've been ventured in there for a while.
Marshalltown, Joburg.
Okay.
Her traditional wear.
I think there's a lot of these around come Heritage Day, especially in the shops where the guys all wear their traditional gear. The background is nice and is dark, and it adds to it. However, on the right-hand side of the hat, you're just losing a little bit of that hat into the background. So maybe try and just lift those shadows on the hat just a tad, so that we can see. Obviously, you're not going to have as much on the right as you're on the left, but just so that we can see that it doesn't fade into darkness. The other thing is, you've just got to be careful, especially when you photograph in black skin. It is quite, and I mean, I'm not being nice when I say this, it does get a bit oily. So you do get a lot of hot spots especially on the nose and on the eyebrows. But I mean, you can also in post tone that down. But I think, as presented, it's a very strong image.
11 gold for Anita. Cook Sisters.
Hulle lyk krakerig lekker.
I just found
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Again, like the milk tap, I mean, these are Cook Sisters. I think the only thing is that there's not a lot of detail in the Cook sisters themselves. There's not a lot of you can't see any texture. The gloss is part of what a Cook sister is. I mean, that's obviously the syrup. I think as well what you could have done here, the plate or tray or whatever they are on, you could maybe just darken that just a tad, because it is very bright and it is quite distracting from the actual subject.
11 gold for Sarina. Our culture.
It's not moving. I don't know
Okay.
why. Seems to be stuck.
Try now. Okay, just hold on a second for me.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I actually love this image because this is also something that is so uniquely South African. You know, you've got the bride, you've got his meat. But what makes the image for me is where they are. In the bush, in a camp, camping with family. You know, it's something that is very uniquely South African, and it is definitely part of our culture. Over December, the holidays, hooking up the caravan, and off you go. You know, mingling with the people in the camp. And I think this is a really, really, it's got a lovely story, and I just think it's, as far as culture goes, I think it nails it.
We have a new model. 12 gold for Tahir. Shivani.
Doing it again.
Again. Okay.
We're just going to have a quick fix here.
Het jy liggie nodig?
The one Fraser had last year as well.
Okay, connect. Yes.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's a very nice image. The Indian traditional outfits are always very, very nice and colorful, and we can see that on the bottom right of the picture. The tones of the skin are absolutely beautiful. Look, rule of portraits, from what I've been taught, is big chunky jewelry like that is never ideal. However, in this case, because she's dressed in her traditional outfit, it's part of it, and so it does add to the image. The crop is nice, it's nice and tight, but again, just be careful that you're not losing too much detail on the top left where her head is, you know, you can't see separation between her and the background. But as presented, it's a beautiful image.
12 gold for Fraser. Your last image, cowboy tradition.
Yeah, again, a very, very simple, very concise picture here, depicting culture. I mean, the elements are all there. You've got the hat, the horseshoe. The background and what it's lying on is also very nicely textured. It doesn't compete with the image. I think the focus is exactly where it needs to be. And yes, a very, very well thought out image.
12 gold for Arnold.
Gaan dis view filter. Pin daai. Is dit nie eers dan nie? En net daai filter.
So please choose a winner between the following few. Branas Braai and Rugby. My Heritage. Traditional Cape Fishing. Our Culture. Shivani. cowboy tradition.
Maybe.
No, yeah.
Want to see them again?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
I'm going to go backwards.
Okay.
Cowboy tradition. Shivani. Our culture. Traditional Cape fishing. My heritage. Branas braai en rugby.
Okay. If I had to really, among all of them, I think, purely from a South African point of view and what makes South African, I'll have to go with it.
And that's Stefan Fourie.
It's add, nee?
Dus je genomen, de team, kan een project hebben, of
Miskien moet ons vir die 2 sterre doen, of die ene kategorie doen.
we doen al de 3 helfts.
Ja.
Okay, so we're just going to do one category and then we'll probably break for.
Dan beter gaan die twee doen.
Ja.
Dat
Okay, 5-star. Follow your dreams wherever they lead you.
What is it?
It's a
Altered reality. No apologies.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not really. What's the title, sorry?
Follow your dreams wherever they lead you.
Okay, this is a very well put together image. I like the elements of the, I think she's holding a lantern. I'm not quite sure where the dream element comes into it. But yeah, it's very nicely done. And I think the tonal range is very nice. When you start at the top where it's nice and bright, and you come down to the dark, almost suggesting that moving forward into the light is where the dreams are taking you away from the dark. There's not really much. I mean, the colors, the bright colors are handled quite nicely. There's nothing that's over the top. I just don't know what's happened with the border on the right-hand side, because I can see it on the left and at the top, but I don't see it on the right. So maybe have a look at that. But you know, as presented, I think it tells the story, and I think it is a very nicely worked image.
It's an 11 gold for Michelle. Me 5 times over. Pastor honors.
which one you
Okay, very interesting concept here. I mean, your background is nice. Your faces, not the same person, I'm sure. There's nice separation between them. They're all lined up quite nicely. There's no, you know, they've been positioned very well that they actually tell the story. I mean, your title, you know, hits the nail on the head. I think yes. I mean, there's nothing that I can see that's obviously wrong with the image. But I think yeah, it's a very nice idea, and it's very unusual.
11 gold for Martinez. Your best teacher is your last mistake. Still 5-star honors.
Okay. All right. There's also a nice storytelling image. I think your colors complement quite nicely. The whites have been handled very well on the shirt and on the background. I'm sure the author wanted the man looking down, because I mean, otherwise you'd want him, you know, not going to see his eyes from that angle. I think everything complements quite nicely. I mean, you start with the blue on the one side, you end with the red. You also, like one of the previous images, you've almost got the fading from the front and the dark to the light behind. What lets it down, however, is I cannot see where the photo starts and where it ends. Again, a border would have actually helped there a little bit, unless that's the effect you're going for.
11 gold for Michelle. Don't look back, you are not going that way.
Okay, another nicely composed image. I'm sure this is the same author. Is it?
Yes.
No, okay. All right. Yeah, so we clearly see, that's Michelle, this is her thing, I think. But again, there's nothing overly, obviously wrong with the image. I think the colors are quite nicely complementary once again. The whites have been handled nicely. Okay, clearly the border doesn't worry you. And I think having a look at it now, I can see it does add to the image because, obviously him walking, you don't know what's on either side of it. And I think it all just sort of culminates and leads you to the main topic of the photo, which is the man walking away.
It's an 11 gold for Michelle. Okay, Anthony, if you don't mind the lights, please. We're going to take a break now. Let's give it about 15 minutes.
Yes. Yeah. You had an exhibition. Well done, Mandy. She had an exhibition now, somewhere in Springs at one of the art galleries.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, with all her art.
Look, it's really nice. I mean, I like that. I can see what she's trying to do.
I think that the thing with altered reality, I don't do it myself. I want to try and learn how to.
From what I've seen, this isn't too bad. Some of the stuff when we judged Benoni's, that's what I was going to tell you. Their end of year competition. So what they do is they've got 8 categories. So you enter one photo per category.
Okay.
And then you get a score. So if we score at 3, judges scored at a 36, whatever. So at the end, they add all the scores together. And then obviously the one with the highest is the overall winner.
Okay.
And they had this altered reality, but geez, some of the stuff that came up there.
No, she's for me. If I have to judge altered reality, I normally do. Is it technically, executed well, so it blends well?
Good. We're doing nature. For this one, I'm going to tell you the star level and then the title. Okay. So this is a 3-star, crafting a home. Remember, nature is non-manipulative.
Okay. All right. This is a very nice attempt at the little bird that gives you quite a lot of action when they're doing this. However, there are a few issues here. Number one, I cannot see the bird's eye at all. It's obviously in the shadow of the nest. These birds do have a nice bright red eye, so it is generally would generally be visible. I think what was a problem here is the time of day. I think the light was definitely not in your favor. You can't do much about these 2 little things at the bottom here. It is nature, so you can't take it out. On the left-hand side here, these leaves, this big bush that comes out of the side of the photo is quite distracting, and it does lead my eye away quite a bit. So maybe consider just cropping that off. But I think have a look and see if you haven't got another image where you can see a little bit more detail on the bird. They do often hang upside down and move their head around from side to side and flap their wings. But have a look and see if you haven't got another one in the series where there's just a little bit more detail on the bird, and try and see if you can maybe, get something out of that.
It's a 9 silver. Who are you? 3-star.
Okay, yeah, these are quite full up at Maury Road at the moment. And I think, yes, you've done very well in capturing, but they're not exactly the most active birds. I mean, this is pretty much what they do all day. But what is pleasing about this image is you haven't lost the whites. You've handled them quite nicely. There's a lot of nice feather detail on the back of the bird. The eye is nice and visible. I'm not too worried about, obviously, the stick coming out of the right. There's not a hell of a lot you can do about it. And that is the habitat that these birds tend to be in. It is always messy and muddy, and they're always close to the reeds. But I think as presented, it's a very nice image.
11 gold for Andre. Top of the world, 3-star.
Okay, these birds are always very, very good entertainment value. The way they sort of almost drop fly and land. What you've got here is one, I think, in transition. The breeding colours aren't quite there. But getting to the bird, yes, you've got some nice feather detail. You have got a little bit of catchlight in the eye. I think the colours of the bird and the colours of the bush it's sitting on are quite complementary. You've got the tail nicely in the photograph. I think the only thing that I would do is maybe consider just darkening your background just a touch, because it is quite bright, but I think you've done very well, because these birds are not very photogenic.
11 gold for Andre. Hanging on for dear life.
Okay. This is also an image of the same bird. However, here, I think your compositions let you down just a touch. Your background is extremely messy. As the previous image showed, if you just wait around and watch these birds, you will get them sitting on a stick that's a little bit cleaner with the background. It is nature. I understand you can't remove anything, but also your bird is pretty much dead center. So maybe try and crop a little bit off the left, and try and give it a little bit more to fly into. Also, you've got a lot of space on the top that's really negative space. It's not really contributing to the photo. So maybe a little bit off the top and a little bit off the left, and you might have a stronger image.
It's a 10 gold for Andre Guerra. Caught in the act. 4-star.
Okay. All right, yeah, this is on my bucket list for this December. I've tried 2 years in a row and had absolutely no success. Yeah, these birds are very, very, they make wonderful subjects. The colors on them are absolutely amazing. If you catch them in the right light, it's one of the most colorful birds you'll ever see. Once again, here, yes, you've got him nice and sharp. There's a lot of feather detail. You've obviously, he is also a little bit center. So maybe you can't crop too much off the right, you'll cut his tail off. So maybe give him just a little bit on the left. You have got a bit of catchlight in the eye. There is a bit of action with him eating whatever it is he's eating. So those elements are all there. Again, I would say maybe consider just darkening the background just a tad, because again it is quite bright, and then maybe try and lift the bird a little bit more to bring the colors out.
11 gold for Elsa. Fish hunting, 4-star.
Okay, yeah, also very, very nice capture, and actually you've done very well to actually get the face, the head of the bird nice and sharp. There's movement in the wings. Your background is nice and muted. Just be careful underneath the wing here where you've darkened the background. There's a few little white spots that you haven't quite matched to the rest of it. just be careful of that. And then also the whites on the neck, just under the black eye patch that extends from the eye. Those whites are just a little bit bright. So try and see if you can tone them down. They are difficult because the whites are quite bright. But I think this is a very nice capture and a very unusual pose for one of these birds.
So 12 gold for Elsa. White-fronted bee-eater, 5-star honors.
All right, yeah, these are very, very colorful birds as well. And what you've got here, they fly very, very quick. They turn quite sharp. So to actually get a capture like this, you're very, very lucky. Your colors are nice and muted. Your background, again, just a tad bit bright. And also just watch the whites on the top of the head. That you don't lose them. But I think as presented, I mean, it's a beautiful pose. You've got some lovely detail on the feathers. I think, yeah, you've got a very special image here.
11 gold for Belinda. Oh my goodness. Gurney's Sugarbird, 5-star.
Right, yeah. You've got an amazing capture here. I mean, everything works. You've got the colors of the flowers are very much complementary to the bird, not competing at all. You've got some wonderful feather detail. You've got catch-eye in the eye. Your background is lovely. You're losing a bit of focus on the tail, but I don't think that's too big an issue. I mean, where you want the author's eye to go, he goes, and it's a really, really special photo. Well done.
It's a 13 COM for Dave. Well done. In the air.
Okay, another beautiful capture. The birds also, they're either with you or they're against you. I think there's a few things here that I'd like to point out. I think your saturation is a little bit on the high side here. Especially on the brown on the wing and on the belly. You can also see the whites are a little bit also gone a little bit yellow. So I think just tone your saturation down a touch. Again, maybe just give it a little bit more on the right to fly into. It's a very nice attempt, and I think you'll see as you go, it does get more difficult to get these. So if you have got another one, maybe just tone the saturation down just a tad, and I think it'll be a lot stronger.
It's 11 gold for Jeanette. Me and the Mustache, 5-star.
That'll all be enough.
Okay. Not a fan of these creepy crawlies, but yeah, I think it's a very nice attempt at getting this spider. There is a bit of detail on the legs. You can see there are a few hairs and things there. The stash looks okay. It's not distracting at all. I think the only thing that I can see here is those white stripes on the back are also just a tad bright. So you can just tone it down just a touch, and maybe the background a little bit as well, even though it is muted and non-obtrusive. I think if you just tone it down a little bit, it'll make the spider come out a little bit more.
Okay, that is a 11 gold for Linda. Before I go on to the next image, sorry, I'm just trying to see the online guys. I've got a bit of a problem. I just want to see what it says here. Go to view.
Waarom is dit doen op die? Deedra sê die skermpie is baie klein op hulle kant. So gaan ek op view Of is dit op hierdie ene? Hier. Sien jy wat sy wys hier so? Ek is nou nie seker hoe om dit te fix nie.
Top hier in begin weer.
Nee,
Ja, ons gaan die
daar. Wat is ek nou? Wag, ek net gaan hierdie een toemaak. Okay. Wag, dis daar. View.
Ja,
En dan sê sy select focus on content. Focus on content.
Deidre, hy is nie beskikbaar nie, so ek gaan dit ongelukkig nie kan verander.
yeah, they're seeing only part of the image. on
Hello?
that side.
Oh, okay.
Sê weer. O. Okay, okay, dankie. Jy by?
Sorry about that. We just want everybody happy.
Right.
Okay, your next image is
En nou is my muis weg.
Met old man.
Links, die kant toe of links? Daar's hy.
Morning Mist 5-star.
Right. Title basically tells you that I understand the mist. However, the antelope in the image isn't really adding anything at all. There's no, if he was looking towards you or standing with the mist in the background, it's a different story. But I just feel that, the mist is the story here. I don't think the antelope adds too much to it. I think what is nice about it is that you managed to also capture a lot of the moisture in the grass, which I think on its own, maybe as a scape of the tree, maybe it would have probably worked a little bit better. But there's no detail on the antelope, and I don't think it, in my opinion, it adds much to it.
It's a 9 silver. Pied Advocate.
Advocate. That bird.
Stuck again.
Ag nee man.
It's okay, we'll fix you quickly.
Score read not confirmed. Hi. Hello. Okay, try again.
Yeah.
These are also very, very nice, colourful birds. The whites are really quite bright, and they've got a very nice sharp red eye in that head. Okay, you've chosen to make this a monochrome image, which generally with black and white birds, it works quite nicely. The bird itself, I think you've missed your focal point a little bit. Looks as though the focus is more on the back and the wing as opposed to the head. But as presented, I think your conversion has worked quite nicely. But some people like the reflection, some people don't. Again, maybe just a little bit of space on the right-hand side for the bird to fly into. But as presented, I think it's done quite nice. The only other thing I can say is maybe the black on the head. You need to maybe just try and get a little bit more detail in there, and it will be a much stronger image.
11 gold for Dave. Button spider. A real one.
Okay, yeah, this is a an absolutely amazing image. Firstly, the background is nice and muted, and it's a lovely color, and it complements the spider as well as the wood that the spider is sitting on. There's nothing competing with your subject. You've got some lovely detail on the abdomen of the spider. You can see even those front two legs. There's even a little bit of web between the two of them. And I think, yeah, you've done really well there. I think you've captured this insect perfectly. There's nothing distracting. The crop is fine. It's a wonderful image. Well done.
It's 12 gold for Arnold. Seems like they've changed the landing strip. And we're moving over to pictorial. This is 2-star St. Paul's.
I think this is it's a very clever image. I think the way you've managed to almost frame the cathedral with these round buildings. So I'm assuming you would have taken this from an alleyway, possibly across the street. But what you've got right here is there's some beautiful detail in the building. You can see there's even the dirt under the one awning there. You've captured the building as if I feel as almost though I'm standing in front of it. There's a lot of detail. The crop is beautiful. It's a nice narrow crop. You've left just enough sky at the top to see where the little tower thingy goes. I don't see much wrong with this image. Well done.
It's a 11 gold for Alan Bryce. Water drops. Still 2-star.
These flowers make such amazing subjects, mainly because they don't move. But what you've got right here is your background being black really does highlight the red of the rose. The water droplets are perfectly in focus. There's a lot of detail then. You can actually see a little bit of light in each one of them. Even the stem you've got here, you've maintained the color. You've got such a lot of detail on the leaves. Your crop is perfect. Everything is as it should be. It's a wonderful photograph of a rose. Well done.
12 gold for Natasha. Kajama. A 3-star.
Okay. I mean, yeah, the author's seen something here and decided to capture it. However, I think you need to straighten the photo a little bit. You can see the horizon tilting to the left, quite severely. Is this an open picture?
Yes.
Pictorial, yes.
Okay, I would have considered maybe removing this little yacht thingy in the front here, because it doesn't really add to the image and it does distract, it does draw your eye away. I think if you straighten the horizon and maybe take that little boat out, you may have a slightly stronger image. Also, I'd like to try and see more detail of the two people on this particular vessel. But and also maybe lift the shadows, just to give a little bit more detail in the front of the boat here. So maybe I'll go back and have a look and see if you have others in the series that are maybe a little bit more, but show a little bit more detail on the people and on this front piece. And also, yeah, it's important to straighten your horizon.
That's a 10 gold for Andre de Kock. Charlottetown Fire Engine.
Okay, again, I think you've tried to capture the main, the name of this particular fire engine and the bell and all of that. You've done well in that you've limited the amount of hotspots that you have in this image. Obviously, time of day might not have been on your side. You've brought the reds out quite nicely. You've handled the whites fairly well. I think maybe, my personal opinion, try and maybe get a photograph of the whole engine. It adds a little bit more context to what we're looking at. But I think as presented, it's a very nice attempt.
So 10 gold for Andre de Kok. Moving to 4-star, get the shot before sunrise.
Yeah, I think we can all relate to this. You've got your person on the beach. I think the author's done well with handling the water. I don't know, maybe what you could do is just crop a little bit off the top, leave a little bit of the white in the sky, but I think you've got quite a lot at the top and not really much at the bottom. So maybe bring down a few centimeters, maybe just above that grey cloud on the left. Just give it a little bit more balance. It does definitely tell a story. It is a photograph, like I say, that I think a lot of us can relate to. And I think it's a very nice capture. I mean, it does tell a story.
And that's as close as you're going to get me in front of the camera. It's 11 gold for Stefan. Loss of innocence.
Yeah.
Looks like we need next step. The black butter and
Now this is very different. You've got some very nice focus on the rose, nice detail with the water droplets. I think what makes it so different is the red droplets are quite subtle in that you only really see a little bit of red in certain places. So I think it adds to the almost the mystery of the image. It's very nicely presented. I think the background definitely helps the photo. It makes the rose pop out just a little bit more. There's not really much you can do or you need to do on the crop. But I think, yeah, it's a very unusual image, and I think it shows quite a lot of imagination.
An 11 gold for Deirdre. Playful clown. Still 4-star.
Yeah, it's a very, very nice, well thought out and well structured image. You've got some wonderful textures in the outfit that the clown is wearing. You can see there's detail in the red pom-poms. The whites have been handled really, really well. I love the background. I think the background actually adds to the photo. It's nice and light, and I think it gives you almost how do I put it? It's a bright time in anyone's life when you're watching clowns at a circus, and I think your background actually complements that. Your gloves are beautifully handled. The textures and the tones on your skin are really, really, really nice. There's nothing drawing your eye away from the subject. And I think it's a very, very well thought out image. Well done.
12 gold for Maria. Sorry, just give me a quick minute.
what do I say? Save score sheet. Entries. Gaan daar net. Wow.
Ja, je kan.
Okay, moes met dit. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. 4-star reflecting the city.
Okay, I think this is a nice street photography image. I think maybe what would have made it stronger is if you'd maybe taken a few steps back with more of the reflection in the water. But then you also don't know how much water there was. I think the time of day is also really not on your side. But I think as presented, and your title does tell the story. And I think as presented, very nice.
11 gold for Stefan. Resting among roses.
Okay, yeah, I mean, your title says it all. I love the black in the foreground, which almost complements the skull. It creates a nice contrast between the skull and the black in the front. The roses are also not overly obtrusive. I think they dull enough that they don't draw your eye away from the skull, which is actually very nicely positioned in the center of the frame. Again, a very well thought out image, and I think it's quite strong. I think there's not really much that you can do to improve it. I think the concept is pretty much what makes it.
12 gold for Deirdre. Death's Bite.
Okay, also very unusual. Someone in your club has a morbid fascination with skulls. But yes, I mean, as presented, again, the bullet is nice and sharp from top to bottom. There's a lot of detail on the casing. The positioning again is in the center, but in this case, it definitely works. The black background definitely adds, creates a nice contrast between the skull and the background, and there's nothing leading your eye away from the actual subject. And I think initially I wasn't really sure about the roses and the eye sockets, but the more I look at it, the more it actually does add a different element to this image. And I think it really is, there's a lot of thought is going into these photos. Well done.
11 gold for Deirdre. 5-star honors, Dancing Droplets.
Zeg jy?
Look, I'm not a water droplet expert by any means. Okay, but what I can say is, I think what makes this image are the colors and how they complement each other. Where you've got your sort of like very, very pale, subtle blues fading into the white. It's a water droplet. And I do like the way that the drops that are breaking off to the left are almost mirroring the blue into the white. So it's sometimes with these you get them that they're very bright and colorful, but I think this one looks almost natural.
So 11 gold for Belinda. In Melrose Arch. 5-star honors.
Now look, I've seen a lot of these popping up on Facebook lately. But what makes this image is your contrast between the blue and the white. You've captured it quite nicely. The lighting is perfect. You don't have anything that's drawing the eye away from the subject. The colors are all fairly complementary. And I think you've done really well. Your crop actually makes the photo what it is.
11 gold for Martinez. Chilling in the reeds. 5-star.
Yeah, again, another nice image of a pied kingfisher. In this case, the whites have been handled really, really nicely. You've got it sitting on a beautiful diagonal. You've got the catch light in the eye. Your background is very nice and muted and not obtrusive in any way. This is open, eh?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, look, maybe you can consider removing this branch that sort of comes out to the bottom in the leaves, which would then make that diagonal a lot stronger. But I think as presented, it's actually very, very nicely handled. Well done.
11 gold for Linda. Cuteness. 5-star.
Oh. Right. Okay. All right. This is a very unusual image, and unusual in the sense that the subject matter is not something you come across every day. The background and the cow are almost exactly the same color, but it's not, I wouldn't say competing, because your focal point is actually the head and the ears, which are a lot darker than the rest of the animal. You've got some beautiful detail in the front with the hair, the little horns coming out as well, you can see. The only thing is from this angle, you're going to struggle to see the eye, but I don't think that's what you were going for here. The colors are beautiful. The background is stunningly muted, and I think you've got a really, really special image here.
12 gold for Anita. Schemer in the air.
Yeah, look, these are also notoriously difficult birds to photograph because they're very unpredictable. Once again, your composition is what's let you down. Your bird is dead center of the frame. It is flying, so I would maybe take a little bit off the right and give it a little bit more on the left. You've got some nice detail in the feathers on the top wing, but it is a little bit muddy under the wing on the left in the front. Also, the whites on the underbelly are not, they're too bright, they're almost blown out. Your background obviously is a little bit, I wouldn't say busy, but I mean, you could maybe just tone that down just a tad more. You've got catch light in the eye, your focus is right, but I think let's just check your aperture compensation. I think you need to just drop that down just a tad.
11 gold for Jeanette. The Kelpies, 5-star.
Yeah, I saw these come up when we were judging a salon earlier in the year. But this is a very different angle to what we saw there. I actually like it. I think them just coming over the hill, it's definitely different from what I've seen before. Again, though, I do get the sense that it is sloping a little bit to the left. So maybe look at straightening that. It's not going to change the image that much. It's just going to add a little bit more balance. The other thing is maybe as well, if you're going to have this at the bottom, you need to maybe just drop the top just a tad, just so that there's a little bit more balance between the foreground and the background. But I think as presented, it's been very nicely handled.
11 gold for Anthony. Coffee droplet. 5-star honors.
The weekend.
Yeah, it's a different take on the droplet thing. I like the contrast between the red liquid and the white background. I think that does definitely add a different element to these. The droplet is nicely positioned in the center of the cup. Yeah, I mean it's a nice nicely composed image. I think the cupping in the center of the frame in this instance does definitely work.
11 gold for Arnold. 5-star honors, hot and sweet.
Okay, again, this is also a very well thought out image. I know there's a chain of thought that chilies and chocolates are complementary. I think what I like about this image is you've kept the theme of hot, which is the reds and the oranges. There's a little bit of smoke. The chilies are obviously giving it away. But yeah, I like the complementary colors in this image. The oranges, the whites. White can also be hot. But yeah, I mean everything in the image actually adds to the title, and it's actually very well put together.
So 12 gold for Arnold. Moving over to photojournalism, you've got a 2-star Ollie Double Trouble.
Question?
No. Okay, yeah. It's a nice photojournalism image. When it comes to photojournalism, I think, and to a lesser degree sport, I think the one thing you've got to think about is, would this image go onto the front page or back page of a newspaper? I think this may, because you can see if you are advertising or writing an article about a concert, I think this image would make it into a newspaper. I think what I would do to improve it is possibly crop the gent on the left out. I don't think he's adding any value at all. I know photojournalism, you can't remove him, but if you do have the opportunity to crop him out, I think you can do that. It's not going to make any difference because you can't really see the full sign behind the singer. But I think, yes, crop that guy out. I like the image. I think it tells the story of exactly where you are and what's going on. And I think, yes, it's a very nice photojournalism shot, actually.
11 gold for Alan. 2-star Andy Erasure.
Oh, goodness, Andy.
It happens, eh?
Yeah, I remember this. Yeah. Okay, yeah, it's also photojournalism. Okay, yeah, look, I mean, this guy's been around a while. I mean, they were big in the 80s from what I remember. But yeah, I mean, it's a nice image. You've got some nice, you can see his face quite clearly. You can see a lot of texture and definition. You've handled the light nicely on the side of his face there. The only thing that I find a bit distracting is this white stand for the microphone, but obviously there isn't really a lot you can do with that. You've managed to get some nice textures and colors in his jacket. I think, yeah, I mean, the blue on the background and the red on the jacket, they complement each other. It's a very nice image. I think you can really, getting an image of him is quite impressive.
11 gold for Alan. All about the base.
One thing I'll say here is, I mean, the story is there. I mean, the title says it all. You don't necessarily have to have all the elements of, you know, making it like a portrait where you can see the guy's face and the eyes and all of that. But I think what I like about this image is the positioning of the guitarist. Obviously, it's at a concert, but there's going to be a lot of light and it's going to be busy and all of that. But he managed to almost capture in between those two downlights, and I think that adds to the image. Yeah, you can't see the face and all of that, but you can clearly see he's playing a bass guitar. And I think, yes, I mean, as presented, it's actually a very, very nice image.
11 gold for Alan. Borduurder, 3-star.
Okay, what is the title, sorry?
Borduurder. So
Like,
what she's doing, it's like candle work.
Okay. Yeah.
Embroidering. Thank you.
Okay. All right, look,
Was
the image does tell a story, and I think generally speaking, I think if people define photojournalism, your subject doesn't necessarily have to know that you're taking a photograph of them. I think what the author's got right here is you've got very nice lighting on the model or on the lady. You've got a nice dark background which kind of complements her. You can see clearly what she is doing. The only thing is, I think that the cloth on this little vase thingy again is a little bit bright. So I think just tone that down and maybe try and crop a little bit off the left to get rid of some of these lines that are not really straight. And I think you may have a much stronger image.
So 10 gold for Andre. 5-star honors. Let's rock.
again a basis.
Okay. Yeah, I think you've actually, nailed this image absolutely perfectly. You know, a lot of these concerts, you've got a lot of flashing lights, you'll have a lot of hotspots, but you've got nothing of that here. You've got some beautiful detail in his face. You can see his passion while playing this instrument. Even the guy in the background, his white shirt is not reflecting too much of the light. The background is lovely and blue and dark and moody. You can clearly see the guitarist, the detail in his shirt, detail in his hands, his face. I think this is a wonderful image.
12 gold for Annelien, some way in there. At the corner wash, 5-star.
You know, this is a typical photojournalism street photography image. It has all the elements. He's not aware that you're photographing him. He's going on with his daily routine. He obviously lives on the street. All his worldly possessions are there behind him. And this tells a story of the times in which we live, I think. You know, this man obviously lives on the street and has to do what he has to do to try and keep clean. And if it means washing your hands in a puddle, I suppose that's what you do. But I think from a storytelling point of view, I think this is a fantastic image. I think it's got all the elements of street photography, photojournalism. I think the only thing I would maybe look at doing is cropping out this pillar on the left, and maybe dropping it down so that you don't have that white spot where the sun is shining there. It will make it a little bit more moody, that the whole image is then in shadow. But I think as presented, it's a wonderful image.
Bless you. Thank you. 12 gold for you. 3 Pumas, 5-star.
And I think any one of us that have been to any of these air shows, these guys are definitely the highlight. I grew up in Springs where we had Benotta Air School, and these Harvards used to fly around all day, and whenever I hear that sound of these engines, it brings back so many memories of my childhood. But in this case, yeah, you've captured it very nicely. There's a nice little bit of symmetry in the way that they are flying. One thing that's in your favor here is you've got some cloud in the sky, which always adds an element to these air shows. So yeah, I think as presented, you can't really see the propellers, but I don't think that really matters. I think your image as presented is very, very well presented.
The 10 gold for Serena. Flower season.
Okay, the colors in this image are absolutely stunning. It's a typical, I suppose, Northern Cape scene, very dry. The flowers are starting to come out. You've got a lovely moody sky. It almost looks like there's patches of sun, but not all the way through. You've got a nice leading line from the front of the photo leading you to the house and beyond. And I think only thing you may consider is maybe just cropping a tad off the bottom, just to get rid of this little tuft in the middle here. So take it just where the orange flowers start. I know it looks like it's sloping, but I think that's the gradient of the hill where the author stood. You might want to also consider just dulling down the house, the roof on the house just a little bit. But I think it's a wonderful scene. I mean, this could quite easily be a photograph or a painting in a waiting room somewhere. It really is very, very nice. Well done.
11 gold for Jeanette. Fun in the mud.
These images are always a lot of fun to capture. You've got all the elements here. I can definitely see movement in the wheels. You've got the mud splashing up the back there, all over the top of the vehicle. You can see all the writing that needs to be seen. You can see the driver and his navigator. There's definite detail in the face. The only thing I would do is maybe just crop a little bit off the top, just to get rid of that white line running along the top. So just drop it just a tad, and I think you'll have a much stronger image. But the colors are all very, very nice, and yes, well done.
11 gold for Linda. We're moving over to portraiture, 2-star, little bit serious.
So now, photographing little ones like this is a challenge on its own. Try and get them to stay focused for longer than 3 minutes is always the challenge. Okay, from the point of view of the monoconversion, I think you've done okay. The colors are all there, and the tonal range is where it should be. However, the image would be a lot stronger if she had turned her head just a touch, so that you can see both eyes with the light that you have on it. Because right now the right eye is in darkness. The left eye, you can clearly see there is a little bit of catch light, and there is quite a lot of light on the one side of the face. So I think if you go back and have a look, see if you've got an image where she's literally turned a little, that both eyes are in the light, and I think it would be a much stronger. But I think as presented, your background is lovely. There is separation, but I think we just need to see a little bit more of her face in the picture.
It's 11 gold for Natasha. Flower power.
Okay, again, now here we have the full face looking straight at you. However, you've amputated her arm. which kind of lets the image down just a touch. The storytelling is there, the flowers are there. The only other thing is try and see next time you can get her to pose that she moves that leg just a little bit behind her, because it is drawing my eye away from her face. The lighting on her face is perfect. There's lovely textures in her hair. The eyes are there. They're looking straight at you. There's white on both sides. It's a wonderful image. I think there's just a few small little technical issues that you need to address.
The 10 gold for Natasha. Gangster attitude, 4-star.
Yeah, this is also a very, I think a very strong image. The pose is obviously lends itself to the title of the photograph. We've got some lovely color on the face. Your tones are perfect. The only thing is maybe just try and lift your blacks on her jersey and her hat just a little bit, and try and just get a little bit more texture in there. But your background is beautiful. I mean, there's a lot of texture in her pants and that sort of thing. The whites you've handled very nicely. I think it's a wonderful image. I think you've done really well here.
12 gold for Maria. Heike Amelvi, 4-star.
Okay. Yeah. Look, I know you're going with the Heike thing, but your background is fine. But I think you need to try and just tone her skin tones down a little bit. There's no. It's almost clashing with the background. Even the shoulder and the front here is very white. You need to have a little bit of separation between her and the background. Her hair is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think your lighting on her is just a little bit too bright.
The 9 silver. The Thinker, 4-star.
Yeah, look, this is a very strong image. The tones on his skin are 100% spot on. The lighting is ideal. You almost have the shadow on the one side and the face in full light on the other. You've got catch light in both eyes. There's separation between him and the background. The shadows are not worrying me at all. I think the pose is very nice. You've got all the definition of the muscles and everything you would be looking for. And I think this is a very well handled portrait. Well done.
It's a 13 COM from Elsa. Nikita, 4-star.
I think this is also a very powerful image. You've got it looks like quite a petite little model hiding behind some very big boxing gloves. The eyes are stunning. The color is superb. You've got some wonderful textures on the forehead. The light's not blown out. There's some nice detail in her hair. Obviously, the background also adds to it. It's a nice, moody, grey background. The only thing is your border looks just a little bit thick, and it is kind of drawing me away from the model. But I think your pose is very, very original. And I think it's a very well composed image.
12 gold for Maria. Alsha in green. 5-star honors.
Okay, yeah, you've taken this from a very unusual angle. I think the green dress and the almost golden background are nice and complementary. There's no clash. I'm not losing the model in the background. The only thing is, obviously with you taking it at this angle, it is going to be a little bit tough to see too much detail in the face. Also, her arm, her skin is just a little bit bright there. But I think it's your contrast of colors, I think, make this image what it is.
11 gold for Martinez. Still 5-star honors, Michaela.
Okay, another nice mono portrait. I think what's letting this image down a little bit is that her hand in particular is just a tad on the bright side. I mean, her pose is nice. You can see both the eyes. You've got a nice dark background, and I think you might just need to try and just get a little bit more separation on the right-hand side, because you're kind of losing her hair and her shoulder into the background. It's a very nice sultry pose. I think she's really looking straight through the photographer. But I think as presented, it's a very well constructed image.
11 gold for Annalene. Sophisticated fisherman, 5-star honors.
I'm not sure where the fisherman comes into it, but yes, also it's a very nice monochrome conversion. I love the textures in this man's face. Looks like he's seen quite a few summers, this guy. I like the colors on the jersey. They're not competing with anything. There's nice separation between him and the background. The shirt, which I think would probably be white, has been handled very, very nicely. I'm just worried about that bottom button. But yeah, I think as presented, it's a very nice, also well composed portrait.
It's 11 gold for Belinda.
This might have been taken in stray spy, that's why.
Probably.
African Dream, 5-star.
Okay, we didn't know who this was. All right, here we have, this is a very, very nicely posed model. I think the colors on her clothes are very sharply contrast from the red background. I mean, the tones on her skin are actually beautiful. Her makeup is absolutely stunning. I think, yeah, there's not really in the back wall. There's not too much wrong with the actual photograph. I think there's a few hot spots on the face, but I think that's mainly because of the lighting. Yeah, I was there where this model was. And yes, no, look, it's very well captured. I think, there's not really much I can say.
So 12 gold for Fraser. 5-star, I dare you.
Yeah, look, I can see a lot of thought went into this photograph. The crop is perfect. The background is very, very complementary to this photograph. Almost matches with his beard and his hair. The makeup is done quite nicely. It actually tells the story. I love the hand. You know, a lot of people would say that the hand is a little bit, but the man's got a lot of definition, a lot of texture in that hand, and it adds to the image. The title sums it up because he looks like quite a mean, intimidating individual. I think I love this image. Well done.
Thank you. 12 gold. Niggie en neef.
This is I think, a spur of the moment photograph. It definitely has the cuteness factor. Also taken from an unusual angle. But I think that adds to it. It tells the story of what's happening here. There's enough detail in both faces. We've handled the whites quite nicely. The only thing I would suggest is maybe just tone the background down again, just a little bit. And I think it'll make the two of them pop and bring the colours out. But it does definitely have a cuteness factor.
11 gold for Sarina. The family triangle.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's another nice image of a family. However, again, I'm kind of a correct record, but your background is a little bit too bright, as well as this patch of skin on the woman's arm. But there's again a definite storytelling element here of a happy family, obviously on an outing somewhere. And I think, yeah, from that point of view, it's a very well presented image.
10 gold for Anita. Angel eyes.
Okay, yeah, look,
It's non-binary.
his eyes almost look straight through you. I mean, your tones on your skin are beautiful, textures on the beard, in the hair, everything is handled really, really nicely. The background, although bright, is assisting you here because it also helps to bring out the eyes a little bit. Yeah, so as presented, very nicely.
11 gold for Fraser. Diegold.
Okay, this is a very nice image of Diegold. Yeah, look, again, the mono conversion has worked in your favor here. You've got a nice black background. There's enough light on the face for you to see a little bit of detail. There is separation between the model and the background. Yeah, just a nice, simple little pose, I suppose.
It's 11 gold for Sarina. Piercing silence.
Okay. This image also tells a story. The mask makes it a completely different image from just a standard portrait. The color of her eyes and the lips are very, very, very complementary. The tones on her skin are handled beautifully. The texture in her hair, it's all there. The only thing I can say is it could really have done with a border, just to complete the photograph and just frame it so that we know where it starts and where it ends. But I love the concept. I love the makeup, the outfit she's wearing. It really is a superb.
The 13 COM for Fraser. We're moving over to scapes. 3-star powered cityscape.
Dis 'n kragtige image.
Okay. All right. I'm assuming the focal point of this image would be the power station. However, the balance doesn't seem to be there. You've got very little sky and you've got a massive foreground. And the problem with it is that you haven't got anything leading you into this main subject, which is your power station. Ideally, what you need is sort of the same amount of foreground as sky, and something that takes my eye to the power station. So from that point of view, it's to me just a photograph of a power station. You know, if you're gonna, you know, you need to have maybe chopped it off halfway through here and given it a little bit more sky. I think it may have been a slightly stronger image.
11 gold for Andre Creer. Architectural charm.
I think this is in Melrose Arch, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Yeah, look, I think it's a very unique building. I think it's worth photographing. I think it's very, you know, very different. I think you've positioned it nicely in the frame. You've got some nice cloud in the background, which I think helps you a little bit. Look, yeah, the only thing I would suggest is maybe these umbrellas in the front, they're a little bit bright. Take it down a little bit, but also obviously, you know, the time of day definitely has an impact on the photo. But I think as presented, it's a very nice image.
The 10 gold for Andre Creer. Soft colors, 5-star honors.
Yeah, these type of seascapes are also always very appealing. The way you've handled the water, it adds image. Your blue in the water and the blue in the sky are almost exactly the same tone. You've got the action of the waves. You've got the clouds in the sky. I wouldn't crop it any differently than you have, because the blue at the top and the blue at the bottom are almost identical. Yeah, the title says it all. I think it's the different shades of blues and whites in this image are quite spectacular.
11 gold for Annelien. Crossing the bridge.
Yeah, this is a stunning image. The colors, the lights, the starburst that you've got with the slow shutter speed on all the lights on the bridge and beyond. It shows, it's an image of a sprawling city, and with some beautiful colors at night. I think you've done really well here to capture all the elements. It almost looks like diamonds at the top there. I think this is a wonderful image.
Thank you. 12 gold for me. Golden glow.
Okay. Yeah, there's definitely, the golden is definitely there. I think the only issue I have here is you've obviously tried to catch the light of the sun on the water, but you've got that big dark strip in the middle. So I don't know if you can maybe just try and lift that shadow a little bit and just try and get a little bit of detail into that middle section there, and I think you'll have a much stronger image.
The 10 gold for Anita. Odini Valley. Odini.
This is scopes, huh?
Correct.
Okay. But the first problem I have here is you've shot this in a portrait form. You need to shoot it more in a panorama, then you get a much wider view of the image. I mean, at the moment you've got the wonderful clouds and the rainbow, which I think is what you were going for. But there's not much happening in the front. So are these houses and trees in the front here actually adding to the image? And I don't think they are. If you'd shot it wider, you would probably have had a little bit more detail and been able to get that line where the valley comes down, leading you back into where that rainbow is. So try not to crop it as a portrait. Try and shoot it more on a wide angle, and I think you'll have a much stronger image.
So 10 gold for Anthony. 5-star Serenity.
Okay, now there is exactly what I was talking about in the previous image. You've got a road leading you into the mountains, which are the focal point of your image. You've got enough foreground and you've got enough sky at the top to basically balance out. So this one, maybe you could also crop just a little bit off, because the road does continue for quite a while. So you're not going to be losing too much there. Again, the clouds in the sky definitely add another element. I think with too much blue sky is also not really ideal, but these three little clouds that you've got there really do bring another element to it. The colors you've got in the slopes of the mountains are absolutely beautiful. You've got the browns, the greens, the yellows. And yeah, this is a very, very nicely composed scape.
11 gold for Dave. And that was the last image for tonight. So just give me a second to filter through everything, because now you're going to have to choose as a best image for every star grade, and then juniors, seniors, etc.
Oh.
You think you were done? Select all. Well, okay. And then I'm just going to go filter by star level, right? Select none.
Like based on
Oh, let's select all there.
Yeah.
Right away, select none, 1 star.
dan might be one for
Oorgids, ja.
Okay, dan kom ik 2 staan.
Okay. These are for 2-star.
Maar met een van hulle kies as juniors or whatever.
Okay, St. Paul's, Water Drops, Ollie, Andy, All About the Bass, Little Bit Serious, Flower Power.
Is that there, man?
That's them. You want to see them again?
Yeah, I think I've made up my mind.
Okay. Flower Power, Little Bit Serious, All About the Bass, Andy, Ollie, Water Drops, St. Paul's.
I think I'm going to go with Water Drops.
Natasha, well done. Best of 2-star.
Okay, now we're going to go 3-star.
Or 3-star.
Kan ek hom kan nie daar aangaan nie. So 'n manier om hulle te filter.
Ik kan mijn 3 staan en dan gaan filter.
Okay. View, filter photos. Okay, 3-star.
En dan toestel voor hier, ja, distributie.
Okay, latest.
have three options. Who are you? Top of the world. Howard Cityscape. See them again?
Yeah.
Howard Cityscape. Top of the world. Who are you?
I think I'm going to go with top of the world purely because it's a lot cleaner image.
Okay, that's best of 3-star. Well done, under work. Distribution. You have only one with a score of 13. Is it safe to assume that your winner, the thinker?
Yeah, I would go.
Okay. Well done, best of 4-star for Elsa. And you have 2 13s in the 5-star grade. Gurney's Sugarbird and Piercing Silence.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think I'm going to go with this one.
Well done, Fraser, best of 5-star. You have 3 images to choose from for 5-star honors. Button Spider, Hot and Sweet, Let's Rock. Let's Rock, Hot and Sweet, Button Spider.
Mm-hmm. Cool. I think I'm going to go with this one.
Okay, best of 5-star, well done, and Annalene. Now you just need to choose a best of the juniors for me. View, filter, door. David theme for first year from Mr. Junior. Wanneer is 'n senior? Sorry, so dan is dit nie daar nie. Of hier miskien. Best 1, 2. Moet dit nie almal best of grade wees nie? Oh, okay. Filter. So please choose between Top of the World and Water Drops. Or Best of Junior.
And I still go with this one.
Well done, Natasha. Best of Juniors. Best Junior. And this one, 1, 2, 3. Star. That includes theme as well. And then you filter, not that. Personal owners, not that, not that, not that. Our best of theme with Elhan. Okay, and then beauty photos. You have 4 to choose from for the best of junior, please. Let's rock. Best of seniors. It's late, people, it's late. The Thinker. Piercing Silence. Branna's Brian Rugby. Want to see them again?
Yeah.
Brana's Brian Rugby. Piercing Silence. The Thinker. Let's Rock.
I think, again,
Okay.
it's, yeah, that image just, yeah,
This one.
yeah, I love it.
Well done, Fraser. Best of senior. Okay, and now you have to choose between, let's just APC view, filter, select all yellow, and then untick, and this lady, yeah. Bless you. Draai enemy. Yeah.
Not this one.
You need to choose between that one and this one, please, for best of event. You did this to yourself.
I know.
So Piercing Silence, your best of senior. Water Drops, best of junior.
Okay. Okay, I've made my choice.
We're glad.
All right. In as much as the water droplets is a wonderful image, this other one, to me, technically is just more spot on the mark. The moment I saw this image, it's literally hit me like a sledgehammer. It's a beautiful photograph. It'll be that one.
Congratulations, Fraser. Best of event. And then you must actually just give the judge a plaster for the hit with the hammer.
Yeah, no, this is beautiful. This is really, really beautiful.
And that's it. Anthony, lights, please. Thank you.
Awesome.
Well, yeah, thank you. Dankie.